Nocturne Audio Stories. The Man Who Hated Losing. Episode 1.
The first time, she interrupted him. The room went silent. It was not a loud interruption, no raised voice, no dramatic gesture, just a calm, deliberate shift of air. That projection assumes compliance, she said. 12 executives turned toward her and then toward him. Adrian Vale did not like being interrupted. He liked precision. He liked timing. He liked rooms that bent subtly toward his gravity. He liked winning before the game officially began. The boardroom at Vale Industries was built for dominance. Floor-to-ceiling glass overlooking the city, a table cut from a single slab of black walnut. Lighting designed to flatter. No one, especially not challengers. He studied her from the head of the table. A new consultant brought in against his recommendation. Elena Marlowe, strategic restructuring specialist. She did not fidget under scrutiny. That was the first anomaly. Most people filled silence with apology. She filled it with patience. "Go on," Adrian said smoothly, the kind of smooth that disguised steel. She met his gaze without defiance, without flirtation, without fear. "Your acquisition strategy works," she continued. "When the other party wants what you're offering," a pause, "this company doesn't." A murmur traveled down the table. Adrian leaned back slightly. A subtle movement, a recalibration. "Everyone wants what I'm offering," he said. No arrogance in the tone, just fact. Elena's lips curved, not quite a smile. "That belief," she said gently, "is the vulnerability." The CFO shifted in his seat. Someone coughed. The city outside the glass continued, indifferent. Adrian steepled his finger. He had built an empire on reading people, on spotting hesitation before it surfaced, on applying pressure precisely where resistance lived. He felt none of the usual tells in her. No quickened breath. No tightening jaw. No hunger for his approval. "Interesting. You're suggesting," he said evenly, "that I don't understand the psychology of my opponent." "I'm suggesting," she replied, "that you assume everyone is playing your game." Another silence, this one thicker. Adrian rose from his chair slowly. Not to intimidate, he never needed to try. He walked around the table, measured steps. The quiet authority of a man accustomed to space. Parting for him, he stopped beside her chair, close enough to test her instinct. Most people leaned back when he invaded their perimeter. She did not move. "And what game are they playing?" he asked. She tilted her head slightly, as though considering whether he deserved the answer. "Not one you can win by force." The air shifted again. Adrian studied her profile, the calm pulse at her throat, the steady breathing, the composed hands resting lightly on the table, no tremor, number performance. He straightened and returned to his seat. "Continue," he said. The meeting resumed, but the equilibrium had fractured. Executives who once tracked his reactions now watched her, not with loyalty, with curiosity. She presented alternative leverage points, emotional incentives, long-term influence, over immediate domination. Adrian listened because he was not a fool, because dismissing competence was how men lost quietly. But beneath the strategic recalculations, something else stirred. A question: why wasn't she affected? The meeting ended precisely on schedule. Chairs scraped back. Assistants gathered tablets. Voices lowered. Elena closed her portfolio and stood unhurried. "Miss Marlowe," Adrian said, not loud, not sharp. Simply a summons. The others filtered out quickly. No one liked being present for recalibration. The door clicked shut. Silence settled like velvet. She turned to face him fully now. No boardroom buffer, no witnesses. "You undermined me," he said. "I disagreed with you. Publicly. Strategically." He watched for defensiveness and found none. "Most consultants," he said, "prefer to establish rapport before challenging authority." "Most consultants," she replied, "are hired to confirm authority." A flicker of something sparked in his gaze, not anger, recognition. "You think I can't handle disagreement?" he asked. "I think," she said carefully, "you're accustomed to being the final voice in the room." He stepped closer this time, not enough to crowd, enough to test. "And you intend to change that?" "No, a beat. I intend to make sure you earn it." The words landed between them, measured, controlled, unapologetic. Adrian felt something unfamiliar brush the edges of his composure, not threat, not attraction, something sharper, resistance. He had encountered resistance before, competitors who bluffed, partners who postured, lovers who mistook proximity for power. This was different. She was not trying to win against him. She was refusing to play beneath him. "You're confident," he observed. "Prepared," she corrected. "You believe I'm predictable." "I believe," she said, "you've never had to question yourself long enough to be unpredictable." The city lights began to flicker on beyond the glass, dusk softening steel. Into shadow, he should dismiss her, reassert dominance, end the conversation on his terms. Instead, he asked, "And what do you think I'm afraid of?" Her eyes sharpened slightly, as if this was the question she'd been waiting for. She stepped closer, not seductively, but intentionally, close enough that the distance felt chosen. "You don't fear competition," she said softly. "You don't fear risk." A pause long enough for the tension to stretch. "You fear irrelevance." His jaw tightened just slightly, the first crack. She saw it and didn't smile. "Careful," he said quietly. "Why?" she asked. "Will you fire me?" He held her gaze, she held it back. No flinch. The truth pressed between them like a third presence. He didn't want to fire her. He wanted to understand her, to dismantle her composure, to discover where her control fractured. He wanted to win, and suddenly he wasn't certain of the rules. "You assume a great deal," he said at last. "No," she replied, "I observe." Another silence, heavy now, charged, her voice lowered, not in intimacy but in precision. "You're afraid of losing more than you're afraid of me." End of episode 1.
You've been listening to Nocturne Audio Stories. Episode 2 arrives tomorrow.